Boa noite novamente. Agora vamos à nossa última sessão desse quarto dia de ELT Week. Vamos falar do relatório do British Council, a inteligência artificial e o ensino de língua inglesa, preparando para o futuro, com o Graham Stanley. O Graham é líder de desenvolvimento de professores no British Council. Anteriormente, ele foi líder de programas de inglês para as Américas. Ele tem mestrado em ELT e tecnologia educacional e ganhou prêmios por dois manuais para professores, o primeiro chamado Digital Play, Computer Games and Language Goals, e o segundo Language Learning with Technology. O último livro do Graham foi Remote Teaching, publicado pelo British Council em 2019. Então, bem-vindo, Graham.
Welcome everyone, my name is Graham Stanley and I am the Teacher Development Lead for the British Council. Today we will be discussing the new British Council report, AI and English Language Teaching Preparing for the Future. The report was authored by educational technology experts at the British Council and Dr. Helen Crompton, Director of the Research Institute of Digital Innovation in Learning. And I will be looking at both the original report and the updated one, which was published in July 2024. In the presentation, I and my colleague will be presenting key findings of the report. We'll be examining opportunities and challenges and identifying areas for further inquiry. Let's look at the report and the background to it first. The key questions are as follows. This is why we wanted to conduct the research and publish the report. AI has captured the world's imagination and led to heated debates. What impact will AI have on how we learn? What impact will it have on how we train teachers? Will teachers be replaced by technology someday? These questions are very live among those working in education. When it comes to language teaching, there are many opportunities to integrate artificial intelligence-powered technologies, and clearly we need to consider both barriers and risks. So in this report, we set out to answer these two questions. Number one, how is AI being used for English language teaching and learning? And two, what are the opportunities, issues, and challenges it presents? Also worth noting is that this systematic review was a first of its kind, as it included the use of AI in ELT at all learner levels, school level, adult, and higher education. Our lead reviewer was Dr. Helen Crompton, and Helen is on Stanford's list of the top 2% of scientists in the world and has received numerous awards in the USA and her home country in England. And although she can't be with us in person, she sent us a message. So over to Helen.
Hello, my name is Dr. Helen Crompton. I'm a Professor of Instructional Technology at Old Dominion University, and I'm also the Executive Director of the Research Institute for Digital Innovation in Learning at ODU Global, Old Dominion University in Norfolk, Virginia. Across the years, I've conducted 18 deep dive systematic reviews looking at the research literature on specific education and technology topics. Since 2017, I've focused on artificial intelligence. What's been very interesting in those studies is we've found out of all educational fields, language learning came out as the most researched area. So I was thrilled to work with the British Council to look very specifically on artificial intelligence and English language teaching and learning, looking at the affordances, the benefits, as well as the challenges. Our research had many great, interesting findings from many ways AI is being used to support those language skills, as well as challenges, things to be considerate of, such as the way AI in some places is being used to standardize language. All our findings have been published in the British Journal of Education Technology. It's an open access publication, so everyone can access it free. And I hope you're able to examine our findings soon.
I'd like to thank Helen for sharing that message. And I think there are two key themes that it's important to highlight here. One, that it seems from the evidence that AI is impacting language education more than other disciplines. And this is a significant finding with lots of implications for English language teaching professionals, as we'll see later. Second, AI is bringing significant challenges to ELT, like the standardization of languages, and we'll return to these and other themes later. So we feel strongly that it's important to listen carefully to the voices of those people at whom these technologies are aimed, and our report just does that. It captures the changes that AI is bringing to English language teaching and seeks to understand the implications and people's feelings about them. We looked at three sources of evidence. First, what the literature says through a systematic review of the last 10 years of research in this field. Second, we captured what teachers say through a global survey of over 118 countries and territories. And third, we spoke to 19 key witnesses. These are a diverse group of stakeholders, including government representatives, researchers, private language school representatives, ELT and EdTech sector experts, and teacher trainers. Before we continue, I want to note that the use of the term AI in our report and how it's used. AI can mean different things to different people. So AI can be defined as computer systems that simulate human intelligence and can learn, understand, and remember human language. AI technologies can be of three kinds. They can be learner-facing, i.e. used by learners to learn, teacher-facing, used by teachers to help in teaching activities, for example, grading, and three, system-facing, which is used by administrative staff to manage and examine learner data. But it's important to acknowledge that the use of the term AI is very problematic as it's used to refer to a range of different systems. So where possible in our report, we've referred to a more specific form of AI, such as generative AI or large language models. And we also find the need for more nuanced definitions of AI, which we'll talk about later. So let's move on to the AI and ELT research key findings.
Hi, I'm Nina Zachapuria, EdTech lead at the British Council. I'm also one of the authors of our report on artificial intelligence and English language teaching. And today I wanted to tell you about some of the key findings from our report. So first, we'll look at the findings from the literature. We conducted a first-of-its-kind systematic review that looked at the last 10 years of research literature in this field. We included the use of AI in English language teaching at all learner levels, whether school level, higher education, or adult learners. And one of the key questions we asked is, how is AI being used in English language teaching and learning in education systems globally? So our study identified 5 key areas in which AI is being used in English language teaching and learning, and these include speaking, writing, reading, pedagogy, and self-regulation. Interestingly, amongst the language skills, while speaking, writing, and reading emerged quite strongly, listening did not emerge from the initial part of our study. We found that AI can provide a conversational partner, it can provide language practice outside of class, and it can even alleviate learners' anxiety while speaking in public. There is a lack of research on specific tools and longer-term impact on learning, and we'll talk about this later. So some examples of how AI can be used in all of these areas. For instance, in speaking, AI can be used to improve learners' pronunciation. There are a number of tools and systems available for learners to improve their pronunciation. For instance, a study with Taiwanese learners found that the use of AI in helping with pronunciation significantly improved the pitch and intonation. AI can also be used as a conversational partner to improve speaking skills. So in a 2020 study, learners conversed with Alexa, a personal voice assistant, and the researchers found that it promoted meaningful interactions and it supported vocabulary acquisition. Other studies have looked at the use of coaching and multimodal systems using multiple ways to present information such as text, images, and video. For instance, in a 2019 study, learners in higher education were provided with an AI coach, which resulted in the ability to speak more fluently using more accurate language structures. When it comes to writing, there are a variety of AI technology tools used to support this, including grammar checkers, including writing assistants and translation tools. AI used in writing mainly related to the improvement of vocabulary learning and grammar. So for instance, there was a 2020 study that found that access to neural machine translation helped learners with their vocabulary improvement, especially where specialized expressions were involved. Another common use of AI in writing was the use of grammar checkers. So for instance, a study by Dizon and Gayed in higher education found that learners using the AI-powered tool Grammarly made fewer grammatical errors and they wrote with more lexical variation than learners who didn't. And there was an interesting study by Chon et al. With South Korean college students that explored the use of machine translation as a reference tool for second language writing. And they found that using Google Translate helped less skilled learners show a level of writing proficiency that was similar to that of skilled learners. We also looked at studies using AI to promote self-regulation. Self-regulation is the learner's ability to manage and control their thoughts, their emotions, and behaviors to achieve personal goals. AI can allow learners to actively participate in goal setting and to become more independent learners. For example, Hugh et al. Used chatbots in ELTs to support learner goal setting, and this helped learners to clarify their learning goals, create techniques for setting goals, and also helped raise their awareness of learning strategies. Some of the studies we've reviewed also looked at using AI to reduce anxiety. All of us feel anxious about speaking in public in a new language or language that we're learning. This is a very natural emotion that learners feel. They feel worried about making mistakes. And Chen Kung et al. In a 2022 study reported that learner anxiety was reduced when an AI automatic speech recognition tool was used with 5th grade Taiwanese learners. Now, we've looked at some of the benefits and some examples of these benefits of AI systems in ELT. Let's also consider the challenges. Interestingly, we found that the challenges are not as well reported as the benefits. However, 4 main challenges emerged. Technology breakdowns include technical malfunctions and poor connectivity. Limited capabilities refer to where users required more advanced functionality. For instance, some learners wanted better chatbot capacity, others wanted more natural interactions. And when they experienced the limitations of the AI tool, learners sometimes became less interested in using it. Learners also experienced fear. This could be for several reasons. It could be a lack of clarity on how their personal data is being stored and shared. It could be a fear of the unknown, so they don't understand how AI is operating and therefore there's fear. There could be fear of losing a natural learning environment and along with it, the real emotions connected to learning. And then finally, there is the challenge of standardizing languages and ideologies. This is perhaps one of the most interesting challenges that emerged. Our interviewees also talked about this in detail. AI can carry messages about what is considered appropriate and standard language use, and it can ignore nuances in language groups. This suggests that AI-powered tools could reinforce certain standardized language use and exclude others. So what are all the implications of our findings for practitioners? Firstly, ELT is the most common discipline for AI use in education. So English language teacher education and training must include a focus on AI literacy. Secondly, practitioners should carefully consider how models are chosen, as AI can carry messages about language use and it can exclude certain groups or certain varieties of English. AI can provide a conversational partner, it can provide language practice outside of class, and it can reduce learners' anxiety about speaking in public. But more evidence is needed on whether these gains persist when the tools are taken away or independent of such tools. We also need accessible and unambiguous ethics statements for AI and ELT with clear systems to ensure data privacy, and practitioners should be realistic about the current limited capabilities of AI and cautious about the hype.
Thank you, Ninaz. And we'll be hearing from Ninaz in a little while when she talks about the experts that were interviewed as well. But first of all, let's look at what the teachers say. In doing the literature review, we found that the views of English language teachers were underrepresented in the research studies. So the British Council designed a survey to gather data on teachers' use and opinions about AI and ELT. 1,348 English language teachers from 118 countries and territories responded to the survey. Now, here you can see the types of AI-powered tools the teachers used. These are arranged in descending order, meaning the ones at the top are the ones more teachers reported using, and this decreases going down. The most commonly used tools were language learning apps, language generation AI, and chatbots, but a significant percentage of respondents, 24%, said they do not use any types of AI tools listed, which may indicate a skills gap. Now, here you can see the kinds of tasks teachers are using AI-powered tools for. Once again, listed from most used to least used. Teachers mostly said they use AI to create materials, help learners practice using English, and create lesson plans. So did teachers feel AI and automated translation will eventually make languages unnecessary? Here are the results. A majority of teachers, about 60%, disagreed with this statement. Only 19% of the over 1,000 respondents agreed. But many teachers also remain neutral, nearly 21%, indicating some uncertainty about the enduring value of language learning. Teachers were also presented with this statement. By 2035, AI will be able to teach English without a teacher. And as you can see, many teachers disagreed with it. Over half of the teachers, 51%, believe that English language teaching will continue to be done by humans, not AI. Only 23% of the respondents believe that AI would replace teachers. But once again, we've got a significant number remaining neutral, indicating that there's quite a bit of uncertainty about the potential of AI in this area. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, we asked teachers to agree or disagree with this statement. I have received enough training to incorporate AI into my teaching. A majority of teachers disagreed with the statement. 54% felt inadequately trained to use AI in teaching, and only 20% felt sufficiently trained. A significant percentage remain neutral, indicating possible uncertainty about their AI training needs. And teachers also explained their ratings, and what comes across strongly is a predominant feeling of unpreparedness. Some educators have taken the initiative to self-educate, and a few indicated positive experiences, but the overarching theme is a call for more structured and comprehensive training opportunities. And I think this teacher comment represents the state of affairs for many teachers. And I think that we can all agree that this is just not good enough, and that a concerted focus on teacher education and training is needed in this area. Obviously, these are just a selection of highlights. We don't have time to go through the whole report, but please do download and read the teacher survey results from the full report, the link of which I will share very soon. So now I'm going to hand over to my colleague Ninaz again, who will talk a little bit about what the key witnesses had to say in the original report.
Hi, I'm Ninaz Chaporia, EdTech Lead at the British Council. I'm also one of the co-authors of the report, Artificial Intelligence and English Language Teaching, Preparing for the Future. And today I wanted to highlight for you some of the key findings of our report. Having looked at the research literature and having asked teachers about their views, we also wanted to consult a range of key stakeholders. So we interviewed 19 participants from a number of countries. These key witnesses in our report included academics, Ministry of Education representatives, CEOs of edtech companies, ELT sector experts, training institute directors, and teacher educators. 11 themes emerged from our discussions with these experts. Firstly, definitions. There's a clear need for a set of agreed definitions of artificial intelligence so that when we discuss AI and ELT, we're talking about the same type of technology. Next, there's the issue of bias. Bias is evident in AI and it needs to be addressed. This is what computer scientists call the explainability problem with AI. As Professor Rodney Jones from Reading University said, it works, but we can't explain why it works, we can't explain how it works. And so it's very difficult to question the results. Regulatory frameworks could help manage bias from the top down, but implementation may be difficult. There's also the problem of teacher readiness. There's already a huge knowledge gap around digital literacies, and addressing AI literacy will also be a massive challenge. As one of our interviewees commented, Dr. Mugisha Aneth Gajura from the Ministry of Education and Sports in Uganda, it's important that teachers and parents are sensitized to help them understand AI, as they are the first stakeholders that will handle learners. This also links to what teachers told us in the survey. Only 20% of teachers felt that they had some training in how to integrate AI-powered tools in their teaching. Some interviewees also expressed concerns about big tech and neoliberalism, how large, mostly US-based companies could have influence in ELT classrooms. And many agree that there's both a place and a need for local, grassroots, and context-sensitive AI. When it comes to AI replacing humans, the majority of our interviewees felt that AI will not replace the need for human teachers anytime soon, and it may never do so. As one of our interviewees, Dr. Gumawang Jati from Indonesia mentioned, AI is not replacing the teacher, but it's replacing the types of tasks that take the teacher away from the students. And in our survey, most teachers said that they were not worried about technology replacing them. What about you? Are you worried about AI replacing human teachers? On motivation, this still remains a barrier or an enabler to learning, and AI doesn't appear to be changing this significantly yet. In terms of the relevance of AI for ELT, there is some evidence that AI will be more usefully deployed in ELT than other disciplines, but not all are convinced by this idea. A major theme that emerged was the need for ethics, frameworks, and regulation. There is a need to review all international, regional, national AI ethics guidelines and to consider if an ethics framework is needed for ELT. According to Wendy Eady, who is Managing Director of a UK-based education technology company, for ELT, it's important for the major providers to be involved so they can influence any ethical and societal effects. And finally, some interviewees talked about inclusion and how the digital divide is likely to worsen if AI has a significant impact on learning outcomes. According to Dr. Toshiyuki Kanemaru from Kyoto University, concerns arise that a lack of proficiency in using AI-powered tools might widen the gap in learning opportunities. When it comes to pedagogy, AI might have the potential to be transformative, but the question remains if it will be held back with outdated learning theory. As Dr. Ramanujam Meganatham from India mentioned, AI should not become learners individually working to learn. Rather, it should promote cooperative learning, learning at their pace. And finally, there is the question of assessment. More research is needed into AI and assessment in ELT. Preventing cheating with AI may lead to the use of newer and better assessment tasks. Some interviewees also raise concerns about the datafication of education and the potential for AI-powered tools to enable the collection of new types of personal data, like emotion AI.
Thank you, Ninaz. So now let's move on to the conclusion. So in July 2024, the British Council published the second edition of the report, and this second report looks at the quickly evolving role of AI in ELT with fresh insights and reflections, especially since the initial publication there has been an explosion of interest and of teachers using artificial intelligence in practice. One of the most important changes is this dramatic increase in the amount of research that is now being conducted in AI. In 2023 alone, almost as many academic studies on AI in ELT were published as in the previous 9 years combined. And there is now widespread interest in the use of new tools such as GPT-4 and Google Gemini. Asia, particularly China, has become the significant contributor to the research, with 38% of all academic articles coming from this country in 2023. There has also been an increased focus on pedagogy and regulation as key areas of research, looking at areas such as how AI chatbots can help students set goals, monitor progress, etc., offering opportunities for them to practice and foster learning autonomy. Using AI for listening has also now become a new focus, a result of many of the chatbots now becoming able to present text-to-speech, offering students the chance to practice. In conclusion, our report provides a much-needed overview of the field of AI and ELT. It provides one of the first formal studies that examines AI and ELT and learning across all learner levels, from young children to adult learners. Gathering the published research in the past decade, the findings reveal the benefits of using AI, as well as the challenges and issues we need to avoid going forward. The results of the teacher survey and interviews with key witnesses also highlight the key opportunities, risks, and considerations. In particular, there is a need to prepare English language teachers to use these new tools. This is essential to gain an understanding of what AI is, how to exploit the many benefits of the tools with English learners, and knowledge of what to avoid. The second edition concludes with recommendations for future research, particularly on the areas of AI for teacher education and training, with an increased need for teachers to better understand the limitations of AI tools. It also advocates for the development of ethics statements to guide responsible use of AI in ELT. Our findings point us towards future activity. First, we need to agree on the definitions of AI so we can be sure that we're referring to the same technology type. Then, principles for ethical use of AI in ELT and learning can be drawn upon. And it will also be helpful to list how AI may or may not be used for specific teacher tasks. In conclusion, while AI currently offers many affordances and holds potential for English language teaching and learning, its integration requires careful consideration of various factors, including bias and inclusion, teacher readiness, and ethical frameworks. Policymakers, funders, and educational leaders can use the information provided in this report to gain a holistic understanding of the use of AI in ELT and guide future AI endeavours. Please go to the Teaching English website, teachingenglish.org.uk, to download a new version of the report. If you search on AI in ELT, when you're at the Teaching English website, you will soon find it. Thank you for listening. I hope you have found this of interest.
Thank you, Grant. Thank you for the presentation. Thanks for joining us for the questions.
Thank you, Vanessa. Thanks to everybody for listening in, and I hope you found it very interesting.
We are actually finishing a full day of speeches about AI and EdTech. So I'm going to send you a few of the questions. Grant, one of the things that was mentioned a lot in the report is that teachers need to be ready to use AI and to learn how to use it properly. How did you, since you know so much about teaching and education, how do you think teachers can learn more about how to use AI in English teaching?
It's a good question. I think the most important thing is to do what everyone listening now is doing, is trying to find out more by listening to other people, to having a look at the research, what's available, watching webinars, connecting with other teachers. there's so much about artificial intelligence and how it can be used in language teaching and learning at the moment that it's difficult to keep on top of it. I certainly can't keep on top of it, and I don't think many people involved, even when they are spending a lot of time watching webinars, reading reports, looking at research, trying out the tools, actually know everything about it. So I think the important thing is to join perhaps communities of practice where other teachers are involved. I'm part of one that meets on Telegram, for example. I'm part of another one that is on Facebook. I try to find time to listen to what other teachers have to say, watching recordings of webinars, etc. And I think that's the best way to do it, really. I think the important thing, though, for teachers is not to become overwhelmed. It's very easy with this type of development in technology to become overwhelmed with it and think, I'm never going to know anything about this. The important thing is to just look in from time to time, have a look at something that catches your eye that you think might be relevant to one of your classes, and to do that, really.
Thanks, Graham. Just to let you know, I put on the chat one of the questions of the report about if the teachers think there is a possibility of AIs replacing English teachers. And there are a few that agree, a few that don't agree. I saw that in the report, most of the teachers don't agree with this affirmation, but what can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yes, it's an interesting question. It's one that that has come up over the years. Before AI, when technology started having a big impact on language learning, the same question was asked, and teachers were worried about whether these new apps that appeared many years ago that allowed learners to learn by themselves, when they appeared, the question was, do we need to teach languages anymore, or is this enough? The same thing with automatic translation. When that started getting better, a lot of people were asking, do we actually need translators or language teachers? And I think the interesting thing is that despite all of these technological advances that make instant translation or the new AI tools, this idea of learning a language has never gone away. People learn languages for lots of different reasons. I think AI, just as these new learning language apps and instant translation, has made an impact on some kind of language learning and teaching. And so some people who want very quick results with translation, or to be able to have access to text in another language very quickly, will not go through the effort of learning a language. But language learning and teaching is all about helping people communicate, to talk to other humans. And I don't think that will go away, to be honest.
Thanks, Graham. I think you left anyone more at ease in the chat. Let me ask you another question. I saw that also in the report, most of the research is in Asia. And since you work in America, you know, Brazil, what do you think we can do, since in Brazil and other countries of America, we have so much digital exclusion? How can we not lose the AI train?
Yeah, well, I think it's true. There are lots of countries who feel a little bit left out, this idea of the digital divide. I think it's a very difficult question to answer, really, because I think what is required is for more people to have more access to the internet, to have more access to technology. And I think, what can I say? I think it's something that is a very difficult thing to answer. I think showing interest is the first step. So the teachers watching this and the other sessions on AI today, showing an interest, starting to use the tools, trying to, if you don't have much access to the internet or to these tools, to try and change that through your institution, through your organization, will help to lobby whoever you can, school leaders, etc., to see if you can improve access. All of that will help. That's the first step. And then further study and to be able to access university courses, etc., about these subjects and to do your own little research. Any teacher with access to these kinds of tools and learners could do action research, and action research is the first step in trying to understand how these tools will affect the language learning that is going on, for example, in Brazilian schools and classrooms. And it will, I think this type of thing, to pose a question and to try and answer it with your own learners or in your own context, is a really good way of getting started and to changing that balance between how much research is being done in Brazil, for example. So I would recommend that.
Thanks, Graham. I'm going to ask you one last question. Do you have any AI tool that you would like to recommend or think it's interesting for teachers to use? Any that you like?
I do. There's one that I've liked for some time now, which is called udio.com, udio.com. It's one of a few tools that have appeared that allow teachers to create automatically music and songs. And the last time I checked, it was free to use. And so what you can do in the classroom, for example, is you could have the students write lyrics, so song words for a song, that they then can automatically, through this tool, or the teacher can automatically through this tool, turn into music and lyrics of different song styles and genres. And it's a really fun thing to do if you want to, even if your students don't have access to it, you as a teacher, if you're able to access this, you can create a song about a particular lesson that you're doing, a particular topic or grammar point. And it's a really fun way of using AI. And it's a great way of making use of another one of these new tools.
We're going to put in the chat later the name. Thank you so much, Graham, for the speech and for answering the questions. Always a pleasure.
A pleasure. Thank you for facilitating, Vanessa, and everyone else for making it possible, and to everybody listening in.
Thanks, everyone who's finishing our last day with us. And about the research, Graham and in the video show where you can download it, but we also have a Portuguese version. So if you want to download in the same website where you register for ELT Week, it's there. And we'll see each other again tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Thanks, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone.